morning. Thank you for coming to our presentation. I'm Hyun-Gyu. Do you have ever heard of the word intellectual property or IP? Today, as products equipped with new technologies are constantly being produced, IP rights or patent rights are emphasized, and you may have heard of them. The purpose of our presentation is to explain IP rights. The outline of the presentation is as follows. First, I will introduce the background knowledge of IP rights. Second, Winnie will discuss the types of IP rights. Third, Sungwoo will introduce the case of IP dispute. And next, Minjun will introduce another case of IP dispute. Following that, Sohn will explain the positive effect of IP protection and present. Finally, I will summarize the presentation. According to dictionary, IP rights are legal rights that granted to protect valuable human intellectual creations. Do you know when the IP rights began? In ancient Greece during 6th century BC, it is estimated that bakers granted exclusive rights to protect their recipe. It was after the printing revolution that IP rights were formally acknowledged. Before the printing revolution, individual knowledge was transmitted only in spoken word, so knowledge was not owned by individuals but by communities. And individual originality and creativity was obscured by collectivity. As text took on the role of the knowledge transfer due to the printing revolution, the boundaries between knowledge transmitter and audiences become clearer. Text containing knowledge began to be sold as product of exchange value. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Minnie. Today I will talk about the type of IP right. IP right can be broadly divided into main three groups: industrial property right, copyright, and new IP right. First, industrial property right protect invention, design, and trademark used in industries. These include patent, utility model, design right, and trademark right. Number one, patent. Patent protect new technologies like a smartphone touchscreen for 20 years from the application date. Next, utility model cover small improvements like an umbrella that closes automatically and are made for up to 10 years. Design right protects the appearance of product, such as the shape of the coffee cup for 20 years from the filling date. Last, trademark protect names, logo, or symbol like the Coca-Cola logo, and can be renewed indefinitely every 10 years. Second, copyright protect creative works, such as music, books, and software. The great thing about copyright is that they are granted automatically and when the work is created. For example, Beethoven Symphony or a movie script are protected by copyright. This protection lasts for 17 years after the creator death. Neighboring rights also protect producer and broadcaster like a singer recording or a TV program. These usually last for 50 years from the date of the recording or broadcast. Finally, new IP right focus on emerging field not covered by traditional category. The protection period is usually between 10 and 20 years. These IP rights are essential for safeguarding ideas and creation, fostering innovation, and supporting growth, individual and business.
Okay. My name is Sungwoo and we're going to look at the case of intellectual property dispute. The first dispute is between the Argocare and the Lotte Healthcare. This dispute is famous for the conflict between a startup and a major company. Argocare was founded in November 2019 and it's a startup that makes health functional food and it also received innovation award at the International Electric Show for developing personalized nutritional supplement device called Ketchup. At the International Electric Show held in the USA last year, Lotte released Kedger after 3 years of development. However, at the same competition, Lotte's device at the same competition, not only the design but the way of using the device was very similar. Argocare claimed that Lotte's device product structure was very similar to Argocare's device, such as how to provide nutritional supplements and use of cartridges. And if you look at these pictures, the details in the machine and the composition of cartridges are very similar to between the Argocare and the Lotte's kit. Argocare said Lotte copied their business ideas during 3 meetings, offering investment and business cooperation. This picture is major issues between Argocare and Lotte Healthcare. As you see that you can see Lotte continuing to make excuses for Argocare's claims. In the end, 7 months after the investment discussions broke down, Argocare claimed that Lotte's stance changed. As suspicions grew that Lotte stole Argocare's technologies and ideas, Argocare took legal actions by reporting to the Fair Trade Commission and the Korean Intellectual Property Office. After 7 months of struggle, the case was concluded when Lotte withdrew from the business. And I think Argocare was able to win because the Argocare's CEO was a competent lawyer who had already been at a large law firm for 4 years before started the business. Therefore, I could realize the importance of SEO capabilities and thought that if you really want to start a business, you also need a lot of legal knowledge. In addition, I recognize the caution of ideas and patent leakage. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Minjun, and today I'm going to talk about a specific example of IP dispute. I selected the case of Apple and Samsung. To sum up it, in 2011, Apple filed a lawsuit in California claiming that Samsung copied their design and user interface, and Samsung counterclaimed that Apple infringed on their telecommunication technology. The first point for this dispute is whether design patents are infringed. As a criterion of this lawsuit, the code based on usefulness and practical similarity. Here, usefulness means whether patent deserves protection, and practical similarity means whether design can be judged similarly by general consumer's perspective. The second point for this lawsuit is whether technology patents are infringed. As mentioned earlier, Samsung and Apple filed counter-action lawsuit in each other. The court ruled based on the similarity of the implementation method, whether technology is actually used or is just abuse of the patent rights. And how did it turn out? This screen shows the result. As you can see from the screen, the court first asked Samsung to pay $1.05 billion for violating Apple's design and technology patents factors, and Samsung's counterclaim was not approved by the court. In this regard, Samsung appealed several times, and the final result was $539 million in compensation. And why this result come out? Let me explain it one more time. The court acknowledged the Apple's technology and design patents factors, and considered Samsung's counterclaim to be an abuse of the rights. So far, I have talked about the case of the Apple and Samsung, and now I'll move on the significance of this dispute. First, design patent was highlighted. Design patents was relatively less interested than other patents, but this case increased the importance of design patents. Second, the complexity of patent dispute. This lawsuit shows how complicated argument can arise when dealing with technology and design patent. Third, the aspect of policy and technology patent. This incident led us to discuss between the boundary of standard and IP dispute. Finally, it changes the strategy of IT industry's patents. It changes the strategy of IT industry. It suggested the importance of defensive patent registration and strengthening patent portfolios in IT industry.
Hello, my name is Won Lee. I'm going to give a presentation about impacts and limitations of IP. To better understand IP, we should realize the importance of it through its positive effects. There's 3 impacts of IP protection: improvement of creation quality and quantity, economic growth and new employments, finally, trust from international society. First of all, by protecting IP, we can enhance the quality and quantity of creation. For For instance, in the early 2000s, the domestic music industry in South Korea faced significant challenges due to illegal music copying. According to this graph, which was presented by the Korea Music Industry Association, the revenue scales of music markets in the early 2000s declined sharply from year by year. However, thanks to the efforts of the Korea Copyright Protection Agency, in short KCOPA, the copyright safeguards in Korea have improved a lot. As a result, the number of copyright registrations naturally increased. As you can see from this graph, which was presented by KCOPA, the registered copyrights are increasing steadily from 2012 to 2023. As creators were able to focus on their works, the quality also improved a lot, which in turn helped Korean music industry success globally. Meanwhile, IP protection creates economic growth and new employment. This bar graph, which was presented by United States Patent and Trademark Office, shows the GDP and employment shares of IP-intensive industries in US. The horizontal axis shows categories of IP industries, and the vertical axis shows percentage that each category occupies. As you can see in this green graph, which indicates the entire IP-intensive industries, the GDP and employment shares were about 1/3 in total industries. This suggests that IP protection can affect greatly in economy. Finally, IP protection fosters international trust. According to a report of the Commonwealth, Cambodia and Ethiopia improved their national images and boosted their export profits of crops by strengthening IP protection. International trust is vital as it attracts foreign investments. Like this, IP protection is very important because it has various public interests such as economy, culture, and politics. Now let's move on to the next point, the current issues of reinforcing IP protection. The first issue is cultural lag. These days, regulations fail to keep pace with high-speed advancing technologies. The second issue is inadequate enforcement. Crackdowns are often inefficient due to lack of capacity, despite of already existing regulations. To overcome these problems, the government should implement preemptive regulations first. In addition, expert groups can offer their insights on rapidly growing areas. Also, we can ease workforce shortages by using technology utilization. For example, AI can help detecting and blocking unauthorized access, such as illegal webtoon capture. Most importantly, international communities must unite together to tackle with global IP issues. Most of them are still unresolved because of criminals fleeing abroad. In conclusion, we must value IP protection for its benefits and also acknowledge current problems of IP to improve it further.
Now let me give you a quick summary of our presentation. In the first part, we explored the background emergence of IP rights. In the second part, we presented the various types of IP rights. In the third part, we examine the key issue related to design and idea through the case of Algocare and Lotte Healthcare. In the first part, we investigated the main issue surrounding design and technology patterns about looking at the case of Apple and Samsung. Finally, in the fifth part, we discussed the positive impact, limitation, and potential improvements in IP protection. Finally, our presentation is related to IP rights. We have created a separate reference page to acknowledge our sources. How about we all take the time to understand and practice IP rights? Thank you.